So we have somehow returned with another video in our How I Would Have Done It series. This time we're going to put out the last entry in the Han Solo trilogy. Yep, that's right. It would have been a trilogy if Hikati Media were in charge of it. I think that that's enough movies to get the point across of what Han actually is. There's only so much you can do with a character before they are overexposed and start to saturate the brand, especially when they're already dead. I am Gibson Shamar and will be narrating the video, as usual. So if you haven't watched the previous entry, which would have been Solo 2, I suggest you go watch that video and then come back to this one. That's if you care about spoilers. If not, then you can stick around. So open the movie on the planet Ilum, and the Falcon bursts into the frame at top speed. It's being pursued by Imperial forces. They shoot at the Falcon. Chewie roars. Han says that he knows. Chewie roars again. Han says that he knows. Chewie roars once again. Han repeats that he knows. The Falcon flies low and goes through the forests while Imperial forces follow closely. Han maneuvers the Falcon so that some of the TIE fighters lose track of him. He then appears and shoots them from behind. The chase continues and some of the shots from the Imperials hit the Falcon. Chewie roars. Han says that he knows. He continues the pursuit and maneuvers the Falcon through tight spots. The TIEs die off one by one because they can't navigate those areas until finally there is one left. Han maneuvers the Falcon through a very tight spot and the TIE fails to do so. It explodes and Han celebrates. They leave the planet and Han says to prepare to head to Tatooine. They arrive on Tatooine and land the Falcon in the usual hangar. They take the crates of the goods that they had taken from Ilum and meet a man in an alley. This is the same alley that they were surrounded in the last movie. The man asks them if they got the goods and Han says that they did. The man says that Jabba really knows how to hire the good ones. Han says that he should just get what he came for and go. The man says that Han is all business and that he likes that. Han says that there's no need to further their relations. The man opens the crates and we see kyber crystals. The man asks if Han knows how much those go for in the black market now that the Empire is stockpiling them. He says that these crates have set him up for life. Han nods. The man says that he hopes that Jabba keeps sending him out for these jobs because they pay, then gives Han the credits. Chewie carries them with him and he and Han go away. As they walk away, show Han holding a handful of kyber crystals and he says that he thought that that guy was never going to leave. Yup, he stole from the supply. Cut to Jabba's palace and show Han and Chewie standing before him. The translator droid is different from the one we saw in the last movie. Jabba tells Han and Chewie that they did a good job and that this job made enough money for them to be out of debt for the damage caused by the other smugglers. Chewie roars. Han agrees and asks why they didn't have to work for it. Jabba says that he had them killed because they were unreliable and destructive. Han looks at Boba Fett, who is standing in the room. Boba nods at him. Jabba says that Han has proved himself reliable in the business. Chewie roars. Han says that Chewie deserves some credit too. Jabba tells them to leave and he will transfer them their share of credits. They both leave the place and go back to Mos Eisley Cantina. They sit while music plays in the background and Han tells Chewie that he's been thinking about the future. Chewie roars. Han says that he thinks that they got the hang of this smuggling business and can go far if they do things on their own. Chewie roars. Han says that Chewie is always doubting him, but he never gets them into trouble. Chewie rolls his eyes at Han. Han says that they could continue working for Jabba for the next couple of years, then go out and do their own thing at their own pace. Start something far away from the huts. Chewie roars. Han asks why Chewie would want to go back to Kashyyyk. He says that the planet is full of Imperials and that they wouldn't be able to conduct any business there. Chewie roars. Han sarcastically says that he agrees and talks about Chewie's story of how he fought in the Clone Wars with wizards. Chewie roars. Han then sarcastically agrees that it was the Jedi. Chewie roars and crosses his arms. Han says that the silent treatment won't cut it and that they're safer if they stay away from the Empire. Chewie roars. Han says that he agrees that the only way they could make an actual difference is by taking an army there, but no one would be that stupid. Chewie roars. Han apologizes. He says that he knows what it's like to be far from home. Chewie roars. Han nods slowly. A few hours later, very late at night, they head back to the Falcon and Han sees that he has a message on his holo recorder. He plays the message and it is from a man. He says that he heard that Han is good at what he does and that he has a job for him. If he is interested to know more about it, he should contact him. Han turns to Chewie and asks what he thinks of it. Chewie shrugs his shoulders. Han contacts the man and the holo recorder comes on. Han asks who he is and how he knows about him. The man says that in the underworld, the only people who aren't known are people who don't do anything. He says that Han has made a big name for himself and he would like his help in transporting some precious cargo from Aduba to Narhaska. Han asks why he would need someone to transport precious cargo such a short distance if the planets are close to each other. The man says that he can't be seen with the cargo. Han rejects the offer. The man offers Han 8,000 credits. Chewie roars. The amount gets Han's attention. He asks if the man is serious. The man says that he is. Han is hesitant, then agrees to it and says that he should pay half before the job and the other half after the job is done. The man tells Han that he will send him the coordinates. Han agrees to it. The hologram goes off. Han turns to Chewie and says that they at least have money to fix the hyperdrive engine. Chewie roars. Han reminds Chewie of the time they crossed the galaxy in one continuous jump and that it fried the system. Chewie roars. Han says that he figures it was a bad idea and that he won't do it again. Chewie rolls his eyes and roars. Han says that he knows and that Chewie doesn't have to keep reminding him about it. Cut to the next day and we see the Falcon fly to Aduba. They land on the planet and the man is there waiting for them. They all meet and the man has crates with him. He tells them that all they have to do is go over next door to Narhaska and deliver them to Jan the Hutt. Han asks the man again why he's paying so much for them to take the shipment to the nearest planet. The man says that he's generous and wanted to get Han's attention and probably loyalty. Chewie roars. Han asks why he's so interested in Han. The man says that Han is a hard man to catch, so the allure of money was the next best bet to catch him. Han asks what the man is talking about. The man points a blaster at Han, and Han points his at him. Chewie aims his crossbow at the man. The man whistles, and others surround Han and Chewie. Han looks around with his gun drawn. Chewie roars. The man says that Han should choose his jobs more wisely. Han shoots the man's legs, and Chewie starts shooting at the others. They both make a break for the Falcon, and the others start shooting at them. Han shoots back. They get to the Falcon, and before they go up the ramp, they see that they have been beaten to it. Han looks behind and sees that they are surrounded once more. Chewie roars. Han sighs. Cut to Obadiah. Han and Chewie are brought before Marg Krim, the leader of the Pike Syndicate, in the fortress. Their faces are covered. The covers are removed, and Han is shocked by what he sees. Marg tells Han that he should consider himself lucky to be alive. Han asks why they are there. Marg tells Han that he shouldn't take life as a joke and that he turned his life into a gamble. Han asks what Marg means by that, and Marg explains that he did something very few would have the courage to do. He then asks how Han thought that he would live out the rest of his life for that. Han asks Chewie if he knows what Marg is talking about. He is hit in the head by one of the guards. Marg says that Han is only to speak to him. Han smiles sarcastically, then asks Marg again who he is. Marg asks if Han doesn't recognize the place. Han shakes his head no. Marg says that 2 years ago, he made off with their supplies from that same fortress. Han then remembers. He then says that that was a job. It wasn't personal. Marg says that he took it personally, and now Han has to pay the price for all the spice that was taken. Han says that this is the first time that he is being berated for being good at his job. Marg says that Han and Chewie forfeited their lives that day. Han realizes the danger that they are in. He says that Marg doesn't have anything to gain by killing him. Marg says that he loses nothing but a few seconds. Chewie roars. Marg says that Chewie should be the one speaking more often than Han. Chewie roars. Marg says that they don't do that kind of business. Han says that they can, and that they can even pay double. Marg thinks about it and says that stealing from the Empire isn't really what they like to do because the Empire has a lot of benefactors from the spice trade. Han says that stealing from the Empire doesn't have to be what they end up doing. He says that they could steal for the Empire. Marg says that that is an interesting deal. He says that there's a group that has been giving the Empire a tough time in recent years and that they have an outpost on Socorro that funds them. He says that Han should go and acquire their credits and give them to the Pikes in order to clear his debts. Han and Chewbacca look at each other. Han then looks at Marg and asks how much that will be. Marg says that that will be about 200,000 credits. Han gasps and asks how much spice is worth that. He is hit in the head once more by a guard. Marg says that this is the price he has to pay for what he did, and that if he doesn't like it, he can give his life as recompense right there and then. Han accepts the job. Marg says that Han won't have to do it alone and calls in the other one they captured. They bring in none other than Sal Milkos, and he is shackled with the same shackles they used on Chewie. They bring him there, and a guard knocks him down to his knees. Sal looks at Han and asks why he has to always run into him. Marg says that he captured Sal the previous day and had to put up more of a fight to restrain him. He says that since Sal was one of the people who worked on the heist, he will have to accompany them as well. Marg tells them that they will be watched over by the bounty hunter who captured them. His name is Morn Santel. Morn steps forward. Han says that he doesn't really work well with others. Marg tells Han that he has no choice but to do so, and that he has 1 week to complete the task or else Morn will execute them. He then tells the guards to stand them up and take them outside. The guards obey the orders. Once outside, Morn tells the guards to remove the shackles of the smugglers, and he formally introduces himself. He goes for a handshake, and Han, Chewie, and Sal just stare at him. He then takes his hand back. He tells them that they don't have to like him, but they will have to listen because he won't hesitate to kill them if they step out of line. He says that the Pikes are paying him fine money whether the smugglers live or die, so their lives or the success of the mission are inconsequential to him. He introduces them to his pilot, Sarnella. She is a Zygarian. Sal shows that he is attracted and goes for a handshake with her, and she kicks him. He falls to the ground. Morn says that she doesn't do handshakes with servants. Sarnella says that Sal is lucky Morn told her not to kill any of them. Morn tells them that he won't be using his ship because it's getting a paint job, but will be using either Han's or Sal's. Sal complains that Morn damaged his ship. Morn says that next time Sal shouldn't put up that much of a fight. They look at Han. Han says that the Falcon worked last time and will work this time too. Sal says that Han is the worst pilot he has ever seen and that it's a better gamble to get the Mynock Claw repaired and then use it instead. Morn says that that would take a long time and that they don't have that kind of time. They go to the Falcon. Upon seeing it, Sarnella says that the Falcon barely qualifies as a ship. She says that it can't possibly be flight-worthy. Han tells her to watch her mouth when she talks about the Falcon because she has done things Sarnella could only dream of with her ship. Sarnella says that the Falcon looks like it hasn't been tended to in decades. Sal says that he's surprised that Han managed to make it look worse than it did before. Chewie laughs. Han tells Sal to remember which ship saved him from trouble last time. Morn says that sometimes there's more than meets the eye, but this ship doesn't look like it has much left in it. They get in, and Han and Chewie get to the cockpit. Sarnella goes there as well, followed by Sal. Morn takes a look around. Han and Chewie get the Falcon up and running, the engines stall, and the Falcon turns off. Sal says that the vertical thrusters need work. Sarnella says that that's only one of the problems it has. Han shouts that he knows. Chewie roars. They get the Falcon up and running, and Han tells Sal and Sarnella to go take a seat. Sarnella sits in the seat behind Chewie's before Sal gets to. He wants to tell her, but she shoos him away. He goes away. Han says that they have to set the coordinates for Sakaro. Sarnella asks him if he has ever been to Sakaro. Han says that he hasn't been there yet. The Falcon lifts off, goes to space, and goes into lightspeed. Cut to Sakaro and show that there are people loading goods into a cargo ship. They are being watched over by a caped figure. The people who are loading the goods go to the figure to ask about logistical information. We don't see the figure's face, but we see his silhouette. We see that the figure is a male. He tells the workers to load the goods onto different cargo ships depending on their value. After a couple of minutes of this showcase, we finally hear the figure speak, but we don't see his face. He says that they should be there any minute. The Falcon drops out of hyperspace and Han pilots it to land in a hangar bay in the same vicinity as the people who are loading the cargo. The crew meets up in the main hold of the Falcon. Morn tells them that Marg has information on how the operation on Sakaro works. He says that there is a lot of dealing under the table on Sakaro, despite it being somewhat reputable in its dealings. He says that the Empire keeps a close eye on the planet and that it's not easy to get things in and out of the system. That's why they have a very important Imperial reserve of credits there. What Marg doesn't know is where the reserve is, but it is in the city that they are in. He tells the crew that they have to go out and find out everything they can about this reserve and report back by the end of the day so that they can come up with a plan. Sal says that that shouldn't be too difficult because Sakaro isn't known for being hostile. Chewie roars. Han says that Chewie is right. Any planet that has the Empire all over it is not friendly. Morn tells them to go out anyway, and if they try to escape, he will find them and kill them by any means necessary. Han, Sal, and Chewie head for the exit, and Han says that if Morn tampers with the Falcon, he won't have a good day. He then leaves with Chewie. They walk around, and we see them going around different places. They get drinks. Show that Sal is also having a look around the city. Show Han and Chewie stumbling upon the operation that was being presided over by the caped figure, and Han spots him. He tells Chewie that a guy who oversees cargo loads definitely knows where to find the reserve. They go to the person and find that it's none other than Lando Calrissian. Well, that's it for today. I know, right? Ending the first part with Han meeting someone from his past again? All I can say is that it's like poetry. It rhymes. The next part will come out in 2 weeks. Next Sunday, I will talk about a show I finished last week. So keep your eye on the channel for the continuation, and while you wait, you can check out everything else we have on the channel. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. They're equally interesting. Trust me, yo. I would also like to wish everyone a happy May 25th. It is the 48th anniversary of the release of A New Hope and the 42nd anniversary of the release of Return of the Jedi. Amazing, isn't it? Time sure flies. Thanks everyone for watching the video, and may the Force be with you. Finally, have a good day.